In today's video, it's going to be a little bit different. It is not going to be a life-size piece. I definitely would have to live in a huge warehouse to get life-size pieces of this line. This is the XM Studios Galvatron in 1/10 scale. This will be the unboxing, assembly, and review, so stick around. So this came in one large box, so at least it wasn't a two-boxer. The standard XM piece where you had the regular shipper and the art box. They do give you that little brochure there that kind of shows you where each piece goes, which is really nice if you ever have to repack it. XM always uses the straps, which are nice. Wish every company would integrate those straps. Here's all the pieces while they're wrapped up. And as you can see, there are two different layers. Here is everything unwrapped. XM Studios always does a really good job on their packing, which you definitely have to do with what it goes through with the shipping services in the US at least. Now, I did have one break. This little part here, let's see if I can get it to focus. It looks like it's a fairly clean break. It goes right underneath his arm. I'll probably wait and put the arm on first to see whether or not I should glue it before or afterwards, but it should be pretty clean, and once I glue it, unnoticeable. But yeah, let's go and put this guy together. Here is the base. Kind of got a Unicron design, kind of the same design that you saw with Rodimus Prime and Nemesis Prime. Looks like I've got number 97 out of 199, if you can read that. So I think there's a few parts I need to put on before I put on the body. And here is one kind of big section. There's another point. So I'm going to go ahead and put these 4 points in. It'll look like this. This little piping goes to the side. Right here. And it just magnetizes right in. I think I'm going to go ahead and put the body on next before I put on the rest of the base pieces. So this is the right leg. You can see it's got a pretty big key on it. I'll show you the main body, but this is kind of the hardest part. So I'm going to connect the right leg and the main body and then drop it down and get them all hooked up. There's the other leg. All right, I am wearing a headlamp for this piece. This is like a juggling act trying to get this all to work. So there's a little hole for this peg to slip in. So you gotta align it right. Okay, so I got that in. Sorry, I had to pause the video. Holy moly, this leg was giving me problems. So when I put this leg in, it was like a good ½ inch over. So I tried all sorts of things. I tried to put everything in at the same time, raising this up a lot, putting this down, putting this in, but putting this part in last. Nothing was working. So eventually I grabbed one of these, a heat gun. Got to be very careful with this. It is powerful. I just warmed up the joint some and then very carefully squeezed it down, and there's like a little slot for it to fit in. And you got to be super careful because these things are expensive, and I definitely don't want to break something on there. But I did get it a lot farther over. I think it needs to set down a little bit more, but that's the best I can get it. And sometimes over time, these things will settle even a little bit better, but I got it a lot more stable now, so we can continue on with the build. Yeah, let's go ahead and put these parts in. All right, then we got these 3 parts here. That makes up this claw hand. Let's go ahead and put on one of the best parts, his head. So I went ahead and I put the batteries in. It does take LR44 batteries. Usually they have a cover on this, but I guess since you can't see it once it's clicked in, they didn't give a cover this time. But these XM Studios always uses these little button batteries, and of course you got to manually turn it on, and voila, Lord Galvatron. All right, these pieces key into his legs. All right, let's get some back pieces on. Just keys in right in the middle there. Got these 2, which I think go towards, yeah, like his hips. These go on the sides of the leg. These actually are color coded. So you got yellow and red. So yellow goes there. Looks like you got white and a violet. So white goes here. His arms going. Now he came with 2 left arms and 2 right arms. We're gonna go ahead and first start out with this pose. It's kind of a clenched fist, but yet there's enough room to hold the matrix showed in that one pose. And then that's just his tank track. That goes up here. Yeah, that's a pretty cool mechanical detail. XM definitely, I mean, they stylize their G1 Transformers, but I like the decisions they make. I'm sure back in the day, if they were the artists on the shows, a lot of those styles would have went into effect. So they had to keep things a little more simple. It wasn't as easy to, as in today's world, be able to make it look complicated. It would have took probably way too much time and way too much money to make them look this fancy. This is a closed fist with this arm and his shooting pose. It tracks a cool cannon here. And this is definitely stylized. In the movie, it did not open up like this, but it looks pretty cool. And I did pop in the batteries earlier. You just go right under here. Let's go ahead and turn it on. All right, let's see. Slides into there. And then these go on each side. One last part. We'll kind of go into the review on this thing. So this also came with Rodimus Prime, and it's got a little tab in the back. You pull it out, it'll start blinking, but you want to keep this tab because I don't think there's a way to stop it from blinking unless you press that, put this back in. I think this whole thing twists out to change the battery, if I remember right. So I also wanted to show what else comes with these XM transformers. So each one they also do this proximity piece that is what the actual robot transforms into. So in this particular case, he transformed in this futuristic tank gun thing. So let me go ahead, it's just 3 different parts. You got the tank tracks there. And on that side, just kind of sets up like that. And then they always give you these honeycomb disc. And then depending on how big the proximity piece is, sometimes it's 2, sometimes it's 3, sometimes it's 4. But you can kind of arrange them in whatever way you want to arrange them. And then a lot of people just stick this proximity piece right next to their transformer. Now granted, for me, I don't have my office set up, but my plan is I kind of want it to look like one large battle scene, and it doesn't really make sense to have what they transform into by them, because if it's one big battle going on, there can't be 2 of them. You know, they're either in robot form or they're in their transform form. So either I'll box these away, or I'll display all of them in another area. And then some of them will also come with this, it's like a metal disc card that you can display by it. And some of these I have, some of them I don't. I think they may do it like for the first like 100 in the edition size, and then the rest don't get it. So don't quote me on that, but I think that may be the case. I was just under 100 on the edition size on this one, so that would be my guess. All right. All right, thought you guys can check out what he looks like in this pose, and then we'll switch out the arms and check out a few other poses and let you guys check that out too. But for you guys aren't familiar, and I don't know why you wouldn't be if you're watching this video, But this is Galvatron, which is the Decepticon leader. Now, he was introduced in the Transformers, the movie. So Megatron, the original Decepticon leader, was badly injured. Starscream threw him out in space with a few other guys and left for dead, and they ran into Unicron, and Unicron basically made a deal if they would become his minions that he would give them a new body, and thus he became Galvatron and took out Starscream and took back his leadership and all that good stuff. And by the way, the Transformers the movie was a very ballsy move that company made at that time. Now, just to give you a little background, I grew up during this era, so I think I was around 6 years old when Transformers came out. And I was a ride or die Transformers guy. I remember at that time I had some He-Man. I traded all my He-Man to other kids in grade school to get Transformers, so I didn't really care about Star Wars. I didn't care about He-Man. I didn't care about G.I. Joe. Only thing I wanted was Transformers. So I think this movie came out, I don't know, like 3 or 4 years into the series. And pretty much towards the beginning of the movie, they killed off like a bunch of all these beloved characters. Now, I grew up in a pretty loving family, but I grew up in a hard-working, you deal with whatever cards that you're played with and are dealt with, and so I took it okay. But man, after that movie, like the toys that I had, there was like, I can't play with this toy anymore. It's dead, you know? So to do that, and I'm sure the only reason, or the main reason they did it, was they wanted to introduce a bunch of new characters and make those characters popular so they can sell more toys. So they just decided to kill off. So for kids, that I can definitely see, I took it okay, but I'm sure there was some other kids that were just super devastated and scarred for life. So anyhow, I'll get off my soapbox on that. We'll go ahead and switch them out to a few other scenes and see how you guys like that. All right, here is this pose. So pretty much I just switched out this hand. Not a whole lot of difference other than that the hand is spread out a little bit up higher. It's probably my least favorite, to be honest with you. I don't know if I would display it this way. It's almost looking like he's trying to cast a spell or something while he's shooting. I know they just try to make it kind of I guess more of an action pose. It's okay, but chances are I'm not going to display that one. This is how this one looks, and I kind of like this look too. But yeah, I think it's got a pretty cool look to it. And this also is going to be a little more compact. So let me just get measurements now. Yeah, now that's only about 23 and a half. And deep wise, I mean, the gun still goes out this way. Probably about 17, but go ahead and start it. It's a pretty cool look too. So yeah, I mean, in closing thoughts, this is a pretty cool piece. XM always does have some pretty nice quality. And their Transformers line is known as some of the best. They're really good on their Samurai line too. But this cold cast porcelain they use, it's always feels top notch. I even like it over what Prime 1 uses. Their packaging is always nice. What isn't nice though is in the last couple of years, their communication hasn't been the greatest. They haven't been releasing products like they said they were going to release. In fact, this thing was, I think I ordered it like 3 years ago, and finally getting it. And it's one of the few items that they actually have released in the last couple of years. So I can't recommend. Do your research definitely before you make a pre-order. Now, if it's something that's ready to ship and all that, go for it. But right now, I would have a hard time pre-ordering anything from XM until they kind of prove that they're stable again, because there is a big fear that, you know, they just might fold up, and then if you pre-order something, you may have issues getting your money back. But anyhow, guys, I know this isn't life size, and if you're not in the Transformers, you know, this review probably wasn't for you. But for you guys that are big fans of G1 Transformers, hope you enjoy the review. And we'll end this review with a few last picks. Hey guys, I appreciate you watching another video. I'm a huge fan of home theater and these movie replica props. I'm going to put out a couple of videos each week in those areas. And if you're a huge fan like I am, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video.